So today's tutorial, we're going to go in depth in the new After Effects software. So what we're going to be using here is the Adobe After Effects CS6. Now, some of you may have 5, some of you may have 5.1, some of you may be using still the version 4, but I went and upgraded it right away because there was an opportunity for me to try it out. So I'm basically using a 30-day trial of Adobe After Effects CS6. So we're just going to load the program right now, and then we're going to go right down to all of the extensive features that you can do with this software. Adobe After Effects is one of those softwares where you can just manipulate videos to your will. Like you see videos from Freddie W, you see videos from Corridor Digital, you see videos from Final Cut King, well he uses mostly Final Cut Pro and some After Effects, and also from VFX Pro, and you may have heard of a lot of other video editors that use After Effects for all of their video projects, and it really delivers outstanding results to all of their video projects. So we're just going to load up the software right now. I'm just killing time right now. Alright, and as you can see here, we have our interface with Adobe After Effects. Now, you will see here that it is mostly divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tabs. And how do we navigate around this? So, if you are starting out with Adobe After Effects, or if you got After Effects for the first time, this is necessarily the interface that you will start out with. So, what you will see up here are your tools. You'll see the selection tool, the hand tool, the zoom tool, rotation tool, unified camera tool, pan behind, rectangle tool, pen tool, horizontal type tool, brush tool, clone stamp tool, eraser tool, roto brush tool. This is one of the new features here. Roto brush tool, where you can automatically rotoscope your footage so that you can put in a background behind it. And if you don't know what that means, I'll show you later. And this is the puppet pin tool. And then you got your 3 other tools: local axis, world axis, and view axis. So now the confusing stuff's gone. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to import our first footage. So what we're going to do is we are going to click down here where it says create a new composition. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look down here for our options: interpret footage, create a new folder, create a new composition. What we want to do first here is we are going to create a new composition. So we're going to click down here, and then we have to make sure that our composition size is set appropriately. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this to 720p. So it'll be set by default to, well, let's try this again. We're going to set this to 1280 by 720 default. This is the preset that it automatically comes with. And you can choose your own preset, or you can create your own preset using the custom button, or you can choose from the pre-selected templates below. So what we're going to do, just for an example, is we are just going to select DVC Pro HD. But look at the width, 960 by 720. It's almost the same, but not quite. So we're going to select the standard 1280 by 720 template. So we're going to select that, and once we have everything good here, you can set the pixel aspect ratio, frame rate, resolution, start time code, and the duration of the video. So it's only set for 6 seconds here, so we're going to set it for like 2 minutes. And then your background color is what will mainly appear when you have it. So let's say we'll set it to red, and then OK. So our composition pops up here, and then we can get started. So this composition basically is an outline of your footage. So we don't have any footage yet, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to File, Import, File. And then what we'll find is we're going to find our folder directories, and we're just going to go ahead and pick a video that we've already made. So let me just pick one of my webcam videos as an example. We'll go back. We'll just use this as an example. This footage is from my most recent video. So we're not going to hear any sound from here because you already have heard it already. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use this as an example, and we're going to import this entire footage into our project. Now, depending on the size of your video, it may take some time to import, whether it's like a 2 megabyte file, those usually import pretty quickly, or if it's a bigger file like an AVI file in gigabytes, it may cause some lag. Now, don't worry if your footage is not too big or not too small. it will import it right away. Okay, so we've imported our composition. What we're going to do is we're going to just drag it into the timeline. So what you do to drag is you click and hold on the timeline, or you click and hold on the composition and you drag it down, and then it imports into your project timeline. So the footage that we have here is basically me using a helmet cam, and we're doing a first person like setting where I have a Wii gun here, and we're just going to go ahead and just skip forward here. So what we'll do here, since it's a little slow, I'm going to set it to quarter because I'm filming this and recording at the same time. So we're going to just keep advancing the frames. As you can see here, my hands are free and I'm holding a Wii Zapper and I'm locking in a Wiimote to simulate like loading a gun, and then I load the gun there like that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to apply effects to this. Now this is our base footage for what we want to do. So what we're going to do here first is we're going to apply what's called a muzzle flare. So what we're going to do is we're going to go towards the part where we need to use the muzzle flare effect. And then once we reach a certain point, like let's say here, like I'm just going to start firing here, like here. Let's say I'm like shooting my own car. We're going to go back a few frames, and then what we'll do is you need to have these certain effects in order to make the effect that you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to go import multiple files. Now, most of the files that I have here I recently got from unknown sources. Video Copilot Premiere Pack of pre-keyed footage and stock footage. It gives you muzzle flares, explosions, blood discharges, anything you can think of. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with muzzle flashes, and we are going to select automatic fires 3, and then we're done. So what we'll do here is we're going to insert this by dragging it down to the timeline, and then when we see that it doesn't appear there yet, why hasn't it appeared yet? Because it's already in the back. So we're going to drag it towards the part where the effect happens. But as you can see, it doesn't appear yet still. So what we need to do is we need to drag it up so that we can allow the effect to be seen. As you can see, you just saw it there. And then we have to go to a certain point, and then right there, it'll appear like that. But unfortunately, it's not the way we want it. So what we're going to do is we're going to just click on this arrow to expand the effects menu. So what you'll see here is you'll see a drop down arrow that will allow you to manipulate the effect to however you want. So we're going to go down here to transform, and if you see these stopwatches here, these are called time vary stopwatches, where you can change the properties over time. So basically animation properties. So what we'll do here is we are just going to go to position. We're going to set a keyframe on the position, and then we're going to just not press the stopwatch for rotation because this is going to go one way. Now click on the arrows to the right and left here, and then we can manipulate it there. So what we're going to do is we're going to just paste it over here so that my Wiimote is a machine gun. So that is how you apply it. But look what happens when you go back. It doesn't move with the gun. So what we're going to do is we are going to go advance a frame. This is called the preview box, where you have your options: first frame, previous frame, play, next frame, last frame, mute audio, loop, and RAM preview, where it compiles the video together to allow for the RAM to load it faster. So what we'll do here is we are just going to advance a frame by clicking next frame, and as you can see, it moves a frame, and then we're going to move the muzzle animation like that. And for here, we'll have to set the rotation to keyframe animation. So that's what happens when you don't animate it properly. It won't move with you. So what you'll do is you're going to go back to where it starts and then reapply it, keep going back and forth here. See? Look what happens. If you don't time it just right, it's going to cause a little bit of an issue. So what you do is you go to your animation and then bring it back like that. Don't press the play button by accident when this happens, like I just did, because you'll lose your place. So you go next frame, move the animation like that. Next frame, move the animation like that. Next frame, move the animation like that. Next frame, move the animation. And it's a science of bringing it back and forth and back and forth. Because you'll never know when these effects will happen. Some of these are predetermined. And that is how you create a standard animation. You use the stopwatch variant and the position variant. You set the position and rotation accordingly, and as you can see here, according to these dots, these represent the changes that you made. So we're going to go all the way back here. So we did a machine gun effect. But it doesn't look very realistic, as you can see. It still looks like a pre-applied effect. It's pre-keyed, but it doesn't look that good. So what do we do here to make it look even realistic? You go to where it says Mode. And then what you do is you click the drop down arrow and select Add. Now this adds to the effect because it looks brighter, it looks more realistic, and it just simulates a real world effect. It just adds to the personality. So basically what we did here is we added an effect, animated it, and then enhanced the effect. So basically your effect looks like this now. Machine gun bullets coming out of a Wii Zapper. Pretty sick, huh? And the magic of it is you can manipulate it to however you want. It's really cool. So that is how you apply an effect using a stock plugin or a stock footage that is usually pre-keyed already, and then animating it, and then setting the position. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to apply another effect, and I'm going to show you how to scale it to size and how to manipulate it even further. So we're just going to stretch out the timeline here. As you can see, I went down here to zoom in and zoom out of the timeline. So we're going to keep going to a certain scene in the footage. Now, as you can see here, I'm just flailing my gun back and forth and shooting it. So I'm going to apply another effect. So we're going to go automatic fire 4. It has to be on the top like this again. So what we'll do here to apply, I'll show you an example of scaling. Now what we have here is a front-facing muzzle flare. So we're going to show you how to resize an effect and how to manipulate it. So you can just go to scale here and you can scale it like that. Scale it to size. You can make it just as big or just as small. So what you do to make it such a size is you click here to adjust the size. Or you can double click on here, go to effect controls, and then it should usually appear there. But it does not. So the best thing to do here is you can use it like this. You can go scale and then you can adjust the properties accordingly. From here you can constrain the proportions or you can't. So basically when you don't constrain the proportions, you can size it this way and this way to your own liking. But if you constrain the proportions, it automatically locks into the same thing. So that's what is meant by constraining. And you can rotate it however you want. You can rotate it this way and you can animate it back and forth. So we're going to apply an animation to this. So let's say we want to keyframe it. So we click here to keyframe it, then we rotate it like this. Then you advance another frame and then you rotate it the other way. So what we did here is we just manipulated the effect. So we're just going to play it for a bit and then we're just going to see our rotating muzzle flash. And I use these muzzle flashes as an example because these are the ones that were readily available to me. So you can use whatever effect you want here. So we're going to use another example. We're just going to close this project And then we're going to use another example. So what we're going to do, we're going to close the wiggler. I'll explain what the wiggler is later. Not Dolph Ziggler if you got that confused. Anyways, we're going to just go find some pictures. And then what we'll do is we're going to just bring up a picture. Just an example. Just my logo for an example. So what you can do here, the possibilities are endless with what you can do here. You can apply what's called filters. So you have your file, edit, composition, layer, effect, animation, view, window, help. It just has the help option, assign workspace option, and also your view options. And you can so go to animations and you can go recent preset animations like this. So you can go here and select drop billiard as an example preset animation. And then what you do is you can just play it back and forth, and look at that, it applied a preset animation to my picture. Isn't that amazing? That is really cool. Now what we're going to do next, we're going to go bad distortion here. We just used twitch with a bouncing drop effect. Now what you mainly need for those is you need plugins for them in order for them to work. So you got to have the Twitch plugin and also free After Effects plugins on various websites. You can get these After Effects plugins from the VFX Bro website. I'll have all the links in the description here so that you can find out where to get them. And you can also use After Effects templates that will allow you to really make great custom intros. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an intro. So we're going to go close this, and we're going to select new composition. Then we'll make our background black this time. Then we'll click OK. So what should an intro have? An intro should have the name of your channel. So let's say D22 Vlogs. That's the name. Vlogs, no. Vlogs. Sorry, I can't type today. So it should have the name of your channel, D22 Vlogs. Well, that's not your channel name, it's my channel name. And you can resize the text however you want. And you can also set the font however you want. So we're going to resize it to our liking. We're going to set the color. Since my channel is blue, we're going to set it to blue. And then you can also set the stroke color, which will be white or red or whatever you want. You just got to make sure it lines up with your text. So we're going to change the text color by double clicking here and setting your text color. I mean, it's already looking good right now. You can resize it however you want. You can set the animation however you want. Yeah, the transforming part here is really cool. So let's say you can keyframe it to scale, and then at a certain point you can make it bigger. So you can just play it back and then it will slowly grow. Because you have the other keyframe set forward. So if we were to make it close together like this, it would go faster. That's an example of expanding. Now, what if you wanted to shorten this into a smaller clip? So you would select the work area and drag it all the way down, right click, then go to trim comp to work area. So now we have 30 seconds of footage to work with. So that's one example that we can do. And if you want to undo the animation, you just click the stopwatch. That's it. It undoes all that you've done. Now, some people may not want to do this, but some people want to just do it for themselves. So let me show you an example of the presets. Now, Adobe After Effects comes already with standard presets, but you can also get your own plugins and presets from Video Copilot. I have Twitch. Now, Twitch is a very powerful plugin. It allows text to be fully distortable, and you can customize it to however you want. So we're going to apply a Twitch effect here called Nightclub. We're going to drag it to our text like this, and then there will just be a After Effects warning here about the controls. So then this is what it looks like here. That's a nightclub. Looks really, really anyways. Now notice here when we play it, there's little boxes around it. So what we'll do here is we're going to go to behavior and then borders change. We're going to change it to expand. So basically the effect will expand out and not be confined to a box. So we're going to play it back, and as you can see, it looks a little bit more natural. There's like more depth to it, and you can show the twitch here like this. I mean, it looks really cool. That's an example of applying a plugin to your base text. Now this won't be totally in-depth, but this will give you an idea of how to apply compositions, apply effects to projects, how you keyframe stuff, and how you use the program in general. Now this program takes a plethora of video formats. It takes WMV, takes MP4, takes AVI, takes MTS. It also supports many DSLR video files. So if you have a DSLR camera, this will really work great for it. If you have a webcam, this will also work great for it. This can take a lot of video formats. You just have to be careful how you film it, and make sure that your lighting is good and that you're clear and that your footage is easy to edit, because if your footage is not easy to edit, then it'll be really hard to get all of the areas that you want edited properly. Like for example, if you film something out in the daytime, it's so much easier to edit because you're out in the daytime where it's sunny. Whereas if you're filming in your room and it's just badly lit, it'll be difficult for you to put your effects in. So you have to make sure that when you set your own footage, it is clear. So let me just close the project again. I'm going to bring up the example of the outdoor footage that I got. So instead of creating a new composition, we're just going to import the file right away. We're going to go import recent footage, and then wrong footage. We're going to import our recent footage, and then what we'll do is we are going to find our gun footage again. So we are going to just delete this other one, and then we're just going to drag it down to the timeline. It automatically sets the composition to the appropriate setting. So let's just go outside here. Let's say you have it filmed outside like this. It's just clear, it's perfect, it's well lit. This is very easy to edit. You also have to make sure that your timing and lines with the videos are good as well. That didn't make any sense. What you have to make sure is that you have to make sure that your effects are applied properly, because if your effects are not applied properly, then it won't look very good. With time, patience, and practice, you will have professional effects on this software. This software is basically tailored to your taste. If you do first-person shooter videos, this is perfect for it. When you have the Action Movie Essentials plugin and also sound effects that you can get from various websites, you can put sound effects in here and you can add to the dimension of your videos. And also a key tip, you have to make sure that your video files can be accepted on this software and that they're well lit. Because if they're not well lit, it won't look good. I'm sorry to say, but you can't really film something and assume it'll be good if it's really dark. If it's really dark, you can't see it. But if it's also really hard to manage, like for example, if it's a video file that condenses the file so short, like let's say for example, you have a video file and it condenses like this. It's a black boxes all over the footage. You have to make sure that your footage either fills the screen up like this, or it's properly proportioned. Because if it's not properly proportioned, it'll end up like this. So you have to make sure that it all lines up. If you want to do like a full HD After Effects project, this is what you need to do. Because if you don't, it will just be very difficult to manage and to edit. So that is an example of how you need to film your footage. You have to make sure that it's well lit and that you know where to go and what scenes to shoot and everything like that. So this is essentially just a pro tip from somebody that knows how to film. And I'm not saying that all of you don't know how to film, but sometimes people can just make the wrong choices when it comes to filming a scene. So we have to make sure that we film our scenes properly and that we know what to do with them when we get into the editing floor. Because shooting a scene is easy. Editing is where the real work comes in. So anyways, what we're going to do next here is we're just going to go through just a few more details of how to use this software, and then we're done. So the effects and presets gives you just a total outline of your effects here. So let's say we want to add some color correction to it. So we're going to go to color correction, and then you can go auto color, drag it there, see it smooths it out. Then you go auto contrast, smooths the contrast, auto levels, it levels everything out, and black and white, where you can go totally black and white. And then you can undo the effects by Control Z, and then you can go color neutralizer, where you can unbalance the shadows, and it's really easy to color correct here. As you can see, we just made our footage look 10 times better. Just amazing stuff. So color correction is really, really easy here. So it's amazing what you can do with this software. You can just drag the effect, leave it as is. You can customize it however you want, and look at that. You can just add vibrance to it. You can add more detail to your whites, your blacks, whatever, and you can just make it just completely stand out from the original clip that you used. And then the best thing is, if you don't like it, you can just reset it, like so. And then what you do is you can just delete, 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 delete. It's so easy to customize your settings. And then you can also set audio. You can set audio effects to your sound effects that you put in. And I got these special plugins called the Magic Bullet plugins. These Magic Bullet plugins are basically pre-optimized filters for your videos. So we're going to go, for example, Magic Bullet Colorista. So we're going to go Colorista 32, and then it gives us a guideline of how to set the colors. So we're going to go here, we're going to set it to a blue. Then you can go set it to red, you can set it to yellow here. Amazing. You can just manipulate it however you want. And you can go primary saturation, you can set the saturation levels, like distorted color like this, or just black and white. It's your oyster. Basically, you can do whatever you want here. So we're just going to delete this effect. And how I'm doing this is I'm just simply selecting the arrow here, dragging it, and then it will go apply to the right side, left side. And then you can optimize your effects by properly getting everything here and then deleting. So, and you can also go instant HD. You can go instant HD where it resizes it appropriately, goes to output size. Really good stuff. So we're going to delete that. We're going to delete that, and it undoes everything. And then you can go Resizer, and you can just resize your footage. This is a really great plugin if you want to resize your footage. If you don't have this, then you can just set the proportions by using the select tool, zooming out, and then sizing it like this. You can click on the boxes here to allow you to resize it so that it either fills your screen, or that you can set it to a certain part like this and animate it however to manipulate it properly. Now, most of you don't have the software. I understand that. And to be honest, I've never had this software either, but I found a site that allows you to get it. But anyways, Adobe After Effects is a really professional software, and you can do so much with it. I wish I had time to explain everything, but there's just so much that I could explain all the details here. I wish I could explain just everything that we have on the software, but it just would be a really long video for me to explain it. So what we're going to do for every Tutorial Tuesday is we're just going to go through a certain feature every Tuesday. So let's say if you have a question about chroma keying, or if you have a question about color corrections, or about the plugins, or how to animate certain things like masking, vector graphics, anything like that, you can just leave it in the comments below, and then I will cover it on the next Tutorial Tuesday, because I definitely want to get my format of videos in a way that allows for various users of my subscriber base to have more of a distinction of content from me, because I know a lot of things. I know how to use After Effects, I know how to apply effects, I know how to manipulate effects, and also add certain filters to effects to make them look more realistic. So this is here for your resource. And mind you, I'm no expert I just practiced a lot on it, and it just became like second nature to me after using for so many times. So that's it for this video. This was just a general outline on how to navigate through After Effects CS6, how to apply effects, how to set settings and parameters, and that sort of thing. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate you taking the time to do this, and if you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, and leave any suggestions on what you would like to see in the next Tutorial Tuesday. So until then, everyone, take care, have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday for another tutorial and for more videos this week. Bye-bye.